It's fall, y'all. Happy fall. I'm back from my September away and part of my October away. I didn't come back from Texas in time to do a live last week. I was one of those people that got caught up in that Southwest debacle, for lack of a better word, describing what Southwest, what that experience was like. But, you know, I look at that experience. You see, I had to be back on Sunday because I had a 2-day retreat on Monday and Tuesday. And and all my stuff was here. I was filming for a speaker sizzle reel. I've got like my beautiful background here, as you all can see, and I was at a crappy hotel with the worst customer service ever. However, I had to adapt and I had to stay longer and I had to make it work. And fortunately, I had my HD camera and a couple of lights with me. And, fortunately on Zoom, it literally is from the waist up, sometimes from the neck up. So I did what I could to make it happen and it was amazing. But I've missed you all. I don't know if you noticed, but I've been posting nearly daily events in history, kind of this date in history of racial injustices that we don't know about. Most of them I don't know about. Some of them I do. I'm sure most of them are a shock to you. But when I look at the amount of evilness and hatred that this country was really built on, it really is a sobering effect. But it does not have to be that way. It does not have to stay that way. And that's why I created the Intimacy of Race Facebook group, so that we can learn about our history. And once we know what our history is, just like the Germans did with the Holocaust, we can make sure that history doesn't repeat itself in such a negative, evil fashion. So let's talk about conflict, controversy, disagreements. And with the holidays coming up, you know that when the gatherings opened up again, your Uncle Jeb or whatever is going to say stuff that's going to trigger you, that's going to make you upset. You're going to hear things at different gatherings that you are attending that may create controversy. But here's what I know about human nature. You always got people who run towards the conflict and controversy and get themselves right up in there and really bring the heat. And you've always got people who just like, let's not talk about that. Let's bring the peace. Let's just, why can't we all get along? And let's just agree to disagree. So if you are watching live or on the replay, I want you to self-identify. Are you a peacekeeper or a shit disturber? Which one are you? Out yourself right now. Peacekeeper or shit disturber? So here's the thing, guys. There's unhealthy peace and there's unhealthy shit disturbance, right? Conflict, disagreements, different views and perspectives can create unhealthy conflict at your gatherings, in your families or in your office parties or whatever it is that's going on. And we tend to avoid these discussions because we don't want fighting. We want the peace, which can be unhealthy peace too. Who's there? Hey, I can't see who this is because I'm on StreamYard and it just says Facebook user, but hi, thanks for joining live. So my point in sharing this with you is you've got unhealthy peace and you've got unhealthy shit disturbance. How can we, as leaders, as influencers, as role models, create space and gatherings so that we can have this controversy, this conflict, this disturbance in seeing things of different perspectives, to bring up solutions, to bring up deeper understanding, to bring up, kind of healthy discussion around issues that cause controversy. Most people are avoiding controversy because it makes them feel unsafe. And most issues bring the heat because it brings up people's fears. It brings up people's sense of themselves in one way or another. And it's up to us as leaders, it's up to us as role models to start to dig below the surface so that these things can come up and out and we can have a deeper understanding of each other. Not necessarily to agree, but to really, stop burying things. Most of our history when it comes to racial injustice has been buried. And that's why we are having the crises that we are seeing today. We are having these discussions, these controversial discussions, because we're digging up things in the past. And you've got a lot of people saying, don't dig it up. I was listening to the news yesterday, and it was a school, I believe, in Texas, who doesn't want certain history taught because it makes people feel shame or they feel guilty because of the history of this country. We've got to feel it before we can deal with it. So feel it. There's nothing wrong with feeling it. But hear me when I say is the more we bury things, the more chances a volcano is going to explode later. So in our gatherings, at the Thanksgiving table, at the Christmas table, at the Halloween party, or whatever it is your jam is, now that we are more open to socialize and gather again, learn how to have the conversations without avoiding, bypassing, trying to make everybody feel good. I had that experience when I posted about my experience in Germany, being stared at. And in that experience of sharing in this group, which is our safe space to share, I didn't feel heard. I didn't feel seen. And people in general were making statements so that I could feel better. And guys, I didn't want to feel better. I didn't need to feel better. I needed to feel heard. And, we all have such good hearts and want to keep the peace, but keeping the peace can be unhealthy. And just having controversy go out of control can be unhealthy. So how can you have this both and? How can you have healthy discussions, healthy disagreements, healthy different views and different perspectives so that you leave with a better understanding of what the other person's experience is, where they are coming from in their perspective, and that you can move on without necessarily needing to agree or disagree. But I get it. I get it. I may not agree with it. I don't think it's right. But I certainly understand why you are protecting your privilege in such a way, because it's scary and you're feeling unsafe, or the guilt is overcoming, or whatever it is. I'm just throwing things out there. So, I want to encourage you to stop avoiding the feelings, stop avoiding the controversy that may come up at your gatherings, but really set some ground rules. Set some ground rules in a safe space to have these discussions without avoiding them. And what I mean by that is, for example, if you and Uncle Jim Bob are starting to get into it, let's not avoid the discussion, but say, look, Uncle Jim Bob, I really want to learn more about why you feel the way you do. So let's have a healthy discussion about this, but let's have some ground rules, okay? Let's not interrupt each other. Let's not be mean. Let's be respectful. And let's really practice generous listening, to listen to the other person before interrupting, before reacting, before responding. Generous listening is a huge piece of being able to have these discussions without the heat literally burning everybody in the room. But it's good to have the heat. It's good to have the controversy. It's good to have the conflict. It's not always good to be all love and life and let's keep the peace, because we need to stop burying things and bring them out in the open and understand each other better. So I hope this helped. If it does, please let me know in the comments. Please go to my website, evamedilek.com, to learn more about how you can have effective communication. You know, I call it the 6 Powerful Ways of Being. It's my free book. Let me just put it in here. www.evamedilek.com/PWOB. And, you know, it really gives you good structure to have these controversial discussions without the avoidance. Okay. So hopefully that helps you guys. I am glad to be back, in service. And let me know if that this date in racial injustice history, the state in history, articles that I've been posting daily are supporting you in any way and are giving you some ahas and eye opening. I would love to hear from you. And welcome to our new members. You know, every once in a while we get a couple of people dropping in, and hopefully you're getting value out of the resources. Go to the resources in the Facebook group, The Intimacy of Race. I think it's guides or something. They keep changing it. I can't keep track. I'll look at it. And there's a lot of good educational stuff that you can back up, you know, when you're at that Thanksgiving dinner table with Uncle Jeb and he's spewing things that just aren't true or that can't be backed by facts. So awesome, guys. Have an amazing Friday and weekend, and I'll see you next week. Bye.